Hey everyone, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor of the Stirfry, Nuclear Printing. They're your go-to custom apparel business specializing in custom t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more for your business, brand, or any occasion. Check them out on Instagram at Nuclear Printing, spelled N-U-C-L-E-A-R Printing. They are an amazing business with great customer support, so make sure you check them out. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stirfry. It's your boy, Chef T.
I'm Will the Spacekid.
And our special guest today is my beautiful girlfriend, Chloe Sintic.
Hi.
What's up, babe? How you doing?
I'm Chloe, like you know now. I grew up in Avon Lake, Ohio. I was a cheerleader for 5 years, and now I'm at BG. So, short, brief, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah, she goes to BGSU. She's a sociology major. She's a sophomore right now. So my first question is, why'd you choose sociology?
So I actually originally started with criminal justice, and I really liked that. I wanted to be a police detective, and as I started kind of finding more out about it, I'm like, I don't really know if that's something I want to do. But I also am a people person, you know, when it comes to problem solving. I like doing that. I like the hands-on interaction. Most of all, I like helping people.
Right.
So I like, any way I can help, that's for me. So sociology, I got introduced to that because I honestly just did a lot of research online. And I just started looking up about, what kind of jobs can you get with a sociology major? And that was another thing was, even if I didn't want to, get completely shooed away from criminal justice related jobs, I can do that with a social degree. And this is at the time, kind of like halfway through my freshman year where I'm kind of like going back and forth between, okay, do I switch over or do I not? And then I finally decided, I'm just going to go ahead and switch over because right now, that's what I feel like I have to do. It just felt like in the moment, this is what I have to do. And if I come across something else that I want to do instead, then all it takes is that shift over again.
Yeah.
So
why do you think, so a big thing about being a social major, you said, was being a people person and dealing with people, dealing with problems. Why do you think you're such a good people person? What do you think are some characteristics that, make you...
I think that just growing up, too, with my girlfriends, they always felt comfortable with me. And that's a good feeling. When your friends can come to you and they're like, I need your help. That's just a good feeling, It's just, they can come to you. So then, that was rewarding for me that I could be there and I could help my friends out. And it just sounds silly because obviously who wouldn't be there for their friend? Who wouldn't help them out? But, I don't know. It just sits well when I can sit there and I can work with people. I just don't see myself, kind of glued to an occupation where I'm just kind of sitting all day and
on a computer.
kind of just, secluded or, just consumed, and I have to be talking, I got to be moving, I have to have that interaction, you know. I like that interaction. It's rewarding. You can meet some really cool people. And
Sounds like you fit perfect with it.
So when you say switch, how was that as far as explaining that to friends or family or personal people in your life?
So actually my mom, she was more like, okay, well, if you're going to switch to something, you need to make sure that the money's going to be there by the time you graduate. She wasn't really more concerned with...
thought out.
Yeah, she wasn't really concerned with, my passion as a whole. She was kind of like, okay, well, you need to make sure if you're going to do this that, you got a plan. Which was a little defeating because, you just want your parents to, to support you in what you choose to do. And I just wanted her to trust me because it's even if I don't make $50K a year, at least I'm going to be doing something I love and I can work my way up.
Well, there's money in any field, right?
That's what I'm saying, though. You put in the work and it'll show out. If you do, it will.
Yeah.
And you've taught me that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've come to realize that a lot more because, I'm a stress ball. So when she starts saying that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this.
I think this is a problem with so many people in college I see. It's over and over again. People are making their decision based on the income after college, based on all these statistics. They're saying, oh, hey, you should major in supply chain. these kids don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
These kids don't realize that you are going to be glued to these Excel documents.
60K?
They know 60K,
And I've had people in public, they'll just, that random stranger, like, you start having that small talk with, and they're like, oh, yeah, what are you in school for? And I tell them sociology, and they're just, like, well, I don't know if you're going to get, a job with that one. And I'm just like, okay, well, thanks.
So
I'm like, thank you, that made my day.
But, I mean, I feel like that is so much more reasonable than, say, what me or Will majored in. Like, I'm majoring in film production. I say that to somebody.
And in media production.
Like, those are way more, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like those are just out there.
Yeah.
Sociology is like a discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a real, both are technically disciplines, but to a older person, let's say, that isn't familiar with, the new age of technology and media, they're not going to understand the value of our degrees.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to me that
sociology is so broad too, though. Like, you can do a lot of other things with it. And that's why I really just appreciated it, because, there's that flexibility. Obviously sociology as a whole, you're learning about groups, individuals, people, and all that stuff. But, like, at the end of the day, you need to know groups, you need to understand people and these norms that we create in our society, and you can apply it to anything. Right. So that's why it is important.
Yeah, you can work with kids to take care of adults, like nursing homes, to HR, where you're taking care of people in the workplace and understanding how people interact.
I could probably get into event planning, anything, even like just, it really is.
I mean, that's like any major though.
It is,
really, if you think about it.
It is,
It's initially what you get your foot in the door.
That's true.
And you can really use your degree and build on random things. Like, my mom is a psychology major.
Yeah.
She's doing workers' compensation.
Mm-hmm.
They may not correlate the same. I mean, to a degree, they have similar qualities probably. You're dealing with people that are injuring themselves at work. It has to do with some sort of maybe psychology in a way. But really, it's just the basic principle of school is trying to teach you. Yeah. It's like, can you go to school? Can you pass?
Yeah, it's the experience. I completely agree with that, because, it's obviously great, having a degree on your resume, but did you get what you needed to get out of school as a whole? Not did you go to class and learn what 2 + 2 is.
Got to network.
You got to be able, you have to be able to grow. Actually. You have to grow yourself.
Yeah.
There. You can't just go to class and then if you're smart and you do well, that's enough, because it's not. Yeah. You have to really push yourself out of your comfort zone, and that's something I'm trying to do too, because those 2 years that I have left, they're coming. Yeah. They're ready, and I'm like, okay, wait a second, can we backtrack and go back to freshman year? Because
you're about to be a
it's
junior.
Scary. Yeah, it's exciting, but it is. It's like, all right, it's time to really start cracking down.
And one interesting thing about majors and having these conversations with people never seem to judge the education major. And I say that in the aspect of I feel like any major is cool, but a lot of the education majors, they get stuck at making $30K a year. Just like any other major, they have that same possibility. But I think in general, when you tell people versus psychology or media productions or film, oh, I'm an education major, people are like, oh, that's good, that's really great. And it's just this
or you're
positive,
some biology major studying chemistry.
Anything science and math related, that's a whole different ballpark.
Yeah. It's just interesting to see the
people
reactions. Yeah, the reactions to when.
Yeah, I mean,
because it says a lot about you though what you're studying. It does.
Let's take a look at the education majors. I think people don't say anything to them is because, first of all, we need them, and everyone knows they're underpaid. Yeah. So it's like, oh, you're really doing that? You're sacrificing some of the comfort of your life to do this and deal with shitty ass kids. Kids are brats. Kids are annoying. Parents are terrible. It's just, people are like, oh, kudos to you, good job. I'm happy you're doing that, because we need those people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without that, then our kids will be.
And it's also a super safety net. I mean, granted, you get a job with any major, but teachers are going to always be around in some form or fashion. Worst come to worst, you end up working at a daycare. But it's those jobs are just available right after school, even though it's at a low pay rate usually. I mean, granted, if you get lucky, that's fine, but usually at a low pay rate. So I think people just know like it's safe. Like you're literally safe. Like, okay, education major, you're going to be a teacher. That's good. I've seen that in my life. I know other people that are also teachers. Yeah. So it sounds good to them.
Yeah, I mean, because you are still, your life is going to be somewhat steady. I mean, I'm sure there's teachers out there that lost their jobs or blah, blah, blah. But yeah, again, they do know they're going to be somewhat steady. They know that, most of them are probably like, hey, hopefully my significant other makes enough money to fucking...
Yeah, well, I think we also should just consider, though, like, we are, like, shifting over to this huge, like, technology, like, advancement. Like, some jobs are just going to be in higher demand more than others. And that's just how it is.
So what about online learning? So do you think teachers are losing their jobs? Do you think online learning is going to eventually replace these teachers? Think about it. One teacher could have...
I don't think it could ever fully come to that.
Right.
Just because we won't let it as a society. I don't think we'll let that happen. Because it will, I think, in my opinion, I think it'll devalue the education we get. Because I'm going to be honest, like, I'm in an online class right now, and I don't take it as seriously because I'm not getting that interaction. You know?
Yeah, you're not...
It really is easy just to be like, oh, that's just a class. Like, I'm not getting as much out of it as I should be because I'm not there physically, Right,
well, yeah, no one's drawing shit on the board. You're not actively taking notes because you're like, why am I taking notes when it's all in this PowerPoint anyways?
You're just not as engaged. You're really not as engaged. That's just...
I feel like the classes I learned the most at were classes where it's like, oh shit, I gotta get this down on this paper before they change the slide because I know I'm not gonna get this PowerPoint again.
Or just, I love it when... So I'm in a criminology class right now. You can ask questions. Yeah, I love it though because my professor... He's straight up like, no exams, nothing. We go to class, and he's got notes and all that stuff, but we actually talk about it. And what I love when a professor does, I like when they ask us how our thought process is before he teaches us the material, so we can actually think about it. And he doesn't present it, then move on to the next. He actually, he goes back and forth with us, and he actually makes it a conversation instead of just another, topic or chapter. Yeah. Which I think is important because when you go back and forth with someone and you conversate, you're going to get more out of it because you're there, you're engaged in the conversation.
See, that's what I do like about social sciences a lot in college is a lot of those social science classes are engaged.
Yes.
They don't really, their whole goal isn't to tell you how things are. It's to kind of, get your opinion, really talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorite classes, like sociology class, philosophy I was a big fan of philosophy because
same. I took a philosophy class my freshman year and it was great.
It's just
it gets tricky, but it's
because it's like there's so much, I think therefore I am, or I am therefore I think. It could be seen so many different ways.
Yeah.
Like just so many different things, and hearing people's opinion is really eye-opening because you can have your mindset on a thing that you think is a fact.
Well, yeah, because it takes that one thought that could literally go through generations and generations. That's why we have all these philosophers and these famous people. They come up with these theories and we use these theories.
Isn't it crazy?
It is cool. Yeah, it's awesome. I love having discussions in the classroom. Like, I would much rather just like talk and just be there instead of, oh my gosh, let's just take notes and do the same old boring slideshow to slideshow.
That's why I can't do
I think notes are important because you have to refer back to something because at the end of the day, everybody, you have to.
Right.
So, but for the most part, I think that we should really just be more focused on like, okay, how are these kids learning this instead of how can we just teach them this? Like, how are they thinking about it? Like, how can we get them to think about it instead of how can we just plant the information inside their head? Because there's a difference.
Well, that goes with professors, I think. And again, having the right people that are choosing to be educational, faculty and instructors and professors, like, I feel like I see this all the time is these grad students and the university gives them a class and they don't care.
No, I've had professors that don't care.
It's like, dude, I'm paying just as much amount of money for this class and as I am with the guy with a doctorate degree who's very inspired by this material, who's going to, get everyone to actually learn to understand the concepts.
Yeah. I told you this about multiple times last year, my freshman year, when I could have a perfect GPA right now. Not that that's like my biggest thing or my biggest goal, but I could have a perfect GPA right now. But I really did. I had one professor who just wanted to make like school impossible, because I did every extra credit, assignment in there possible. I even wrote an 8-page paper that I didn't have to write, but if you wanted those extra points, you could do it. And I still ended with the C in the class because the dude, if you saw his exams, it was literally like, it was multiple choice. You think, oh yeah, that's easy. That shouldn't be too bad. But the questions are paragraph long, and then the answers are sentences long. It's like at that point you would rather do a short answer, because the way he had it was, there's no right answer, guys. Just make sure you choose the best. And once you hear a professor say that, you're just like immediately, you're one of those. Like, you're one of those. I'm screwed.
Oh, yeah, instantly.
Yeah, because I know you've had a few of those too.
Oh,
yeah. Or they're like, sometimes there's multiple answers on one problem, and you're just like, is it A or B? Like, it can't be both, dude.
And then, but they're secretly
What's so interesting is, like, a lot of those classes usually end up getting curved the next year. Like, if results just go so terribly wrong because it makes the school look bad.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
Well, if you have your doctorates, though, you're tied in. You're glued. You don't gotta worry.
Tenure.
Yeah, you could set up an 1,000-point exam and then do one assignment throughout the whole semester, and then your final grade will be based off that exam because you have your doctorates. And however you teach is the best way of teaching it, even though it's really not. But hey, they have that one on them.
Yeah.
And then people just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's just it was annoying though. Let me tell you. I remember I was so pissed off. I walked out of his office hours and I called my mom. I'm like, this fucking asshole, dude. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand why professors are like that.
Yeah.
I kind of think the physical aspect of going to college overall is also like a social status. I think online is kind of online is kind of frowned upon. Like, say you don't know somebody that well, and you're at some type of function, like, oh, I go to school, and where you're like online, and like, oh, you don't really go to school, and you're like, what?
Well, it's important to be around people. Like, you have to be around people. You're gonna have to work around people. So it does it's a weakness if you can't,
Yeah.
I mean, so I think it's better, but I also just think it shouldn't be like frowned upon. Like when people say like they go to school.
Well,
online.
everybody's situation fits their own situation, but for the most part, like you need to learn. You're a human being. You do need to learn how to be around people. You don't have to like it.
The key of being in a
You don't have to like it, but you do need to learn how to do it because that's life.
Right. Exactly. And like what I want to talk to you guys about, I want to see your opinion, is going back on the online and the just going to physical school and going away to school. So obviously everyone work at Channel 3, and we had this story about this guy that went to University of Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, University of Phoenix, you've heard of this? Yes. Yeah. And I know I told you about it. So he went to University of Phoenix, and he got his associates, his bachelor's, his master's, and then he was almost finished with his doctorate, right? Mm-hmm. And he wasn't able to get any jobs. He applied to over 250 positions. They're like, dude, we can't hire you.
Did he stay in the state of Phoenix? Just to throw that out there?
No, University of Phoenix is an online. It's basically like Bryan and Stratton.
Okay, got you.
So it's like online.
It's really low key.
It has they're like, it holds no value, right? They're like, we can't hire you. You don't work in healthcare. Because he was going for a gerontology degree, and they're like, dude, like you have your master's, but you have no experience. This paper is practically invaluable. Like, there's no value in this. Which is crazy. So again, it goes back to like, it's not even about the piece of paper. It's people are looking at the experience that builds within that piece of paper, right? Like, I can go get a degree anywhere. If I have no network, no past job experiences, no internships, nothing, then it's practically not worth shit.
Yeah, I think that gets frustrating though too, because even for some internships, they want you to have an experience, And
Right.
it's like, how do I have
get in this
experience if
problem.
nobody gives me an opportunity to get it?
So this is the dilemma.
That's a
dilemma.
huge problem too. And I get it though. Like people want to see that you at least put in the effort and you've got at least an internship.
Right.
But even just finding an internship can really be a struggle for a lot of people.
Right, and I think, but see, this is where I think the network comes in, right?
Yeah.
So if you know somebody, you are already ahead of someone that has experience, I think.
Well,
like,
yeah.
so say there's a random person applying for an internship, but he's had 2 prior internships. You're just applying, but you know the person, or you know someone within the company, or that person, also went to BG and knew somebody that you know. They're likely to look past, we just say past job experiences, so like the people that we don't want and are not confident in themselves don't apply, Shit, if they say prior work experience, I'm still applying. I don't give a fuck,
Well, yeah, because what do you have to lose?
Right.
Yeah.
Your resume's already ready. All you gotta do is drop it off or,
Submit it.
submit it online.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
But like, think of how many people you guys go to college, especially BG, and they go through the motions, and they go to class, come home, that's it. They don't do activities, they don't meet people.
Oh, a lot.
And they don't have internships, and then they graduate and they wonder why they're working at Heinen's or Giant Eagle.
Yeah, well, definitely a lot.
Yeah.
Because they don't have someone to push them to do that. And you need people to push you to do it. Because if no one's going to push you, you're not going to be thinking about it on your own. Unless it's something you already are passionate about.
Right.
If you're not passionate about it, it's not going to happen. It's really not. Like, you have to want it. You have to really force yourself to do stuff. And that's what I was saying. Like, you have to step out of your comfort zone when you get to college or school, because you're in a place where you're not used to.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It can be hard to force yourself to kind of, get out there and get involved because you're new to it. And you just, you're thinking about, how am I going to be judged? Is this something that, like, I can do? Can I, like, commit to this?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and it's important to
that-
ask yourself that kind of stuff, too.
Yeah, that in turn builds, I think, the characteristic that jobs want, right?
Yeah,
If you think about it, it's like, okay, as a metaphor, you go to college, you're by yourself, you don't really know anybody, you get dropped off, then you go to class, it's up to you to make friends.
Yeah.
The structure's there, there's opportunity of people, you're
But
around
it's up to
people,
you,
but it's up
yeah.
to you. All right, your first day on the job, people are, hey, how's it going? But, like, a successful person is going to be able to work with people, interact, be able to do that on their own and not, be naive and sit in the back while, other people are walking all over you, No one wants that as a person in their work.
Yeah.
I think another problem as far as like work is concerned right now is these businesses are trying to save money. And it's like these businesses have billions of dollars, but yet they don't want to create development anymore because it's like, well, I get that people are trying to come out of college and work, but I want 2 or 3 years of experience. And then people just don't have that because they only had to do one internship.
Yeah.
And that was less, is a lot of times that's actually less than a year.
Right, yeah.
Because it's only one semester. And they're just like, well, I don't have the experience. And then it creates this circle of where people are graduating, ending up with these like lower jobs and kind of like nitpicking at experience to get the bigger job that they're supposed to get because these companies are trying to save so much money. Like,
yeah. No, that's a huge problem. That's why I'm not trying to say that like,
like that's
even
not the
if you
main
have
problem.
Internships, you should be able to get a job after college. I know it's a problem. Like that for sure is a definite problem.
That's a huge problem.
People are graduating, aren't able to get jobs
because they want experience, and it's like I get it from a business standpoint. Like, yeah, I want to hire the person that can do the job the best right now, but I feel like development still has to exist, especially. Companies make so much money as is.
Yeah, and there are talented kids graduating that are going to get in these internships, and maybe they don't have as much experience.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, and they end up having to get 2 jobs or having to go and serve on the side, and it's just really fucked up. And I think that it's stressing kids out even more, right? So the idea of college back in the day was you go. you get a degree, you get a good job right out of school.
Yeah.
Now they're like, oh, hey, by the way, now you have to have 5 internships, you have to have at least 3 extracurricular clubs or whatever, and you have to be really involved. They want to see this, this, and this. Kids are getting stressed out. Kids are, depressed more than ever. There's hella statistics on that. People are sad. People are depressed. I'm sure suicide rate's probably higher than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And again, this is why people are choosing majors that they don't want to do solely based on money.
I think it's hard though too because, for 18 years, we're home, our parents raise us, we graduate high school, and all these years they tell us, don't grow up too quick, you stay as young as you possibly can. And then we turn 18, and they're like, get the hell out. It's time to adult now. And you're like, okay, so I just graduated high school, and I'm going to college in fall. So, what am I supposed to do with my life? How can you just make that, shift? You really can't. And sometimes being at school for 3 years, then you'll find out, okay, maybe this is what I want to do. You can't know right away.
Right, then they're
you
forcing
can be passionate about things, and you can think you want to do something and that you love it, but you could go for the whole 4 years and then graduate and realize that's exactly not what you wanted to do.
Yeah, and
but
they're
it
trying
took that
to force
experience
you earlier, though.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're trying to say, hey, you should know. They say, oh, it's okay, you have time, right? But then when you get to senior year, they're like, where's all your internships?
Yeah.
Fuck, I only get, 8 semesters of college? Or more, is it more? 2. I'm right. 8 semesters of college, yeah. No, you get 8 semesters of college.
Yeah.
And you get only 4 summers. There's limited time.
Yeah.
There is limited time, and why would you want to do internships where you don't want to do that job anyways?
Yeah.
So what?
I think that's the problem with kids, though, is it's so engraved in their minds that they almost have to settle because they feel like they're stuck.
Then they live a whole...
They feel stuck.
60 years of their life.
Once they start it, you have to finish it, which is true, but that's only if it benefits you, If you're doing something and it's not for you, it's okay to reroute. And I tell you this all the time. If the plan's not working, it's not working. You find another way and you make it happen, and then you just keep going with that way. And if that doesn't work out, there's endless options.
Yeah.
But I think that is a huge problem. Kids feel that pressure that once you decide something, then you're stuck with it. And even if you think it's not for you, well, you have to make it fit for you because you chose that now, and there's no going back, which isn't true.
And then they graduate.
Yeah.
And then they get a job that they hate.
Yeah.
And they work there for years.
Yeah.
And they're miserable.
Yeah.
Then their family's miserable. Then that kid grows up. He's miserable. He's doing the same thing his dad was doing, and now he's miserable. Yeah. And it's a cycle. I mean, it's a big problem. People are afraid to say, hey, I don't like this. I might try something else.
Yeah.
And I think this is totally, it's still on topic, but my dad, for instance, he has taught me that because, as you guys know, he cooked for years. He got his degree in culinary arts in Pittsburgh, right?
Okay.
And then he's working, and every time I grew up, when I was growing up, he was always stressed out about it. Employees never showing up to his jobs that he had. He would have to work weekends, holidays. Yeah. He started gaining weight because he was in the kitchen eating all the time. He was unhealthy. Then one day he said, you know what, fuck this. He quit his job and then started doing construction stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He lost weight, was much more happy, and has been happy.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he might have took a small pay cut, or a large pay cut or whatever, but what taught me a really good principle is that it's never too late. And if you're not happy, then figure out another way that will make you happy and also will still, you have responsibilities. Yeah. Still meet those responsibilities. Yeah. If working in a kitchen wasn't your thing anymore, then you'll take a job, say less money, but maybe you'll have to take another side job. Yeah. But you enjoy both jobs. So therefore you're happier. Therefore your family's happier. Therefore everything is better. And then you get to grow old and like what you do.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, though, it sucks, but it takes that, experience of going through a whole span of years to realize that you don't like what you do. Yeah. It does. Right away, you might, like your dad, he loved it right away.
Oh,
yeah, this is my niche, this is my thing, like, I can't wait to do this for the rest of my life. And, it either goes one way or the other. You either do really love it and you keep doing it until the day you die, or you get fed up and you're like, you know what, I'm kind of done. I'm ready to move on to the next. Right. And that's okay. Because, there's endless knowledge out there. You don't have to do the same thing for the rest of your life unless you want to.
Yeah.
Unless you want to.
Yeah.
So I do feel like, your dad is a great, long-term example, but we have to look back at the root of the problem where people basically get bullied by their guidance counselors in college. You're in college and you're like, everybody doesn't get the same value as far as a switch. You're like, hey, I've been taking these classes and I want to switch. And for some people, it's like, well, that's fine. You have 30 credits. 20 of those credits no longer exist. So are you still willing?
Like my life.
Worst nightmare ever.
So are you still willing to switch? I mean, you can definitely still switch right now, but again, 20 of those credits. Actually, I forgot. Well, 24 of those credits won't count. I miscounted. And then you're sitting there like, okay, so
like,
so what does that mean? And they're like,
so I got to restart, and just.
And then from there, a lot of people are like, well, I only have 6 credits and I did 30, so I might as well just keep going. And then you look up and now 90 credits. You're 90 credits in, and it's like you can't even switch because you got bullied in the first place.
Well, yeah, that goes along with
then you look up and you're fucking 7 years in PG, and
it's
the pressure because it's an investment.
But that problem,
money.
I feel like that problem also exists from the fact that you have to do about 40 credits that are irrelevant to your major in the first place because it's supposed to add diversity, and I just think that's like the biggest scheme ever. Like I don't think it adds diversity. Like
they try and say, hey, maybe you'll like one of these and pick it as your major.
I think it keeps people there longer.
Yeah, they just want more money. Keep you there as long as possible.
Because you can't even pick what you want.
Because it's so and it could be so irrelevant to like certain people majors. Like I mean, literally has nothing to do with it, and people just and then we all know how people like do college. You go to the library, you learn it. I don't care about that if it's not pertaining to your major. So the next year, it doesn't even have value. People ask you something about that class, and you're like, I can't help you. I barely made it out. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I've talked with professors, and they say it's supposed to make you a well-rounded human being, right?
Yes.
Well-rounded.
I heard that speech.
Or they're like, well, we're trying to give people options, see if they want to, what major to pick. But the whole thing is that they still have requirements. Like, you have to pick... I have to take a English literature class. Like, why? If I know that I'll never be interested in that at all, I shouldn't have to take that.
Well, it's interesting, too, if you really think about it. So, these gen ed classes, the ones that, people just take because they need to get it on their transcript.
They need to have it,
When you go to the first class of the semester, you're meeting your professor, you're meeting your fellow classmates, they always want to ask you, so why are you taking this class? 9 times out of 10, most of the students are going to say, I need this. Yeah, so the professor, they don't care because they're like, all right, well, if these kids don't care, let's just get this class over with. Let's teach them the material. It's a waste of time, Yeah. And then, it's not like, the teacher feels like they're just teaching it because they have to. They don't really seem to care too much about...
Right. I think it would be better if it was more about take exactly what you like you really want to take music something you want to take
you shouldn't feel limited
because you feel limited shit I have to fill the that one foreign language category I gotta take a Spanish I fucking don't want to I took Spanish in high school it's ridiculous so that's actually what happened to me. Right, so I'm gonna go into. I was in that experience where I was sitting with the guidance counselor.
Days.
Yeah, my old days. I was sitting there, right, and I'm 2 years into my marketing major. That's 60 credits. Yeah. So I'm 60 credits deep.
Decent amount, halfway.
Halfway done. 6 credits deep, and I'm like, marketing is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, I know I can't do this. And I was going through a whole bunch of changes in my life and trying to really figure out who I was. And I was like, I can't deal with these fake ass salespeople, business kids. Like, it's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, are you sure you want to do this? You only need, you might be able to graduate a little early, it looks like.
And good for you, though, for, like, taking that risk.
Yeah, I mean, but I was sitting there and she's trying to convince me that to not change. Because this is a business. I want to tell you about business guidance counselors, though.
It's different. It's different.
Business guidance counselors are on a whole nother level of scheming and they're practically just salespeople.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. BG's
they got those techniques. They can use them to their advantage.
It's just ridiculous.
But yeah, so the School of Business is kind of like one of the prizes of BG.
Yeah.
So, they'll let you leave from like the media production major or like even like the film school isn't as aggressive. But when you try to leave out of the business school, like I've had friends like, are you sure? Like, maybe we can meet tomorrow, have some coffee, and re-talk about this.
Yeah.
Like, because it's a prize. Like, BG makes so much money off their business school, and it's so great for, like, advertising. It's always been like that.
Yeah.
And just a whole bunch of legendary people, like, making it...
That's going to be here.
Yeah, like, they invest money in the business school. Like, you're not...
That's what I was saying. That's, like, the biggest school. And, I don't know, I walk around, I just see a bunch of just schemers. And the one thing Schemers. I don't know, dude. I think that... It's all about it. To me, I love business.
Yeah.
And I love entrepreneurship. I love marketing. I did love marketing.
Yeah.
But I like the aspect of like the advertising side, more of like the creative aspect. What they were trying to label as marketing was sales.
Yeah.
And then to me that was a problem is because like I'm not gaining anything. Like I'm not getting a product, right? As if I'm not learning an actual skill. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You're learning an ideology. This is how you should talk.
You're learning scripts.
That's a skill.
It's like scripts.
But I'm not learning a trade, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, there's nothing that separates me that I could physically show before an interview, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted just to be on the creative side anyways. But, so yeah, I'm sitting there, I say I want to switch my major, and this guidance counselor, I probably met with her twice in my whole career, and she was kind of a bitch. And I really didn't feel connected, because she probably had another 100, 200 people, right?
Yeah.
So I switch, and I go meet with the guidance counselor in my film production program. Amazing.
Yeah.
She's really engaged she's pulling out a bunch of books and flyers. She's like, I'm so happy you're joining this and you're changing. Like, here, take this. Here, read over this. And she's really helping me plan out how I can graduate on time. Yeah. That means that I have to take almost double the amount of classes in order to graduate in 4 years, because I lost 2 years of my major that I was pursuing. Mm-hmm. I ended up losing a whole semester worth of credits because I already took all my econs, I took all my stats, I took all my maths. In film production, you don't need any of that stuff.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasted all that stuff. It was good because I like math, but it's just crazy that they weren't even able to, because each college has certain things outside of it, like basic science. Each one has those basic classes, and some of them I wasn't able to even cover with that 4,000 level econ class, mm-hmm. which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is that it does have to do with these guidance counselors. Why was a business person not trying to help me and trying to sell me? But then I go to the film production person, and she's like, hey, how can we actually help you? Oh, I know somebody that can get you an internship. Like, we can, like, really hands-on. Yeah. Really, you can get through this. Not trying to say, hey, I'm going to keep you. Because really, the guidance counselors try to keep you. Yeah. That's their main objective.
Well, yeah, because they're sick of kids going back and forth from major to major, but that's their job. Like, you signed up for this. Right. If the kid's going to come to you 3 times in a row, well, guess what? You should be there each time listening.
Yeah, they don't tell you the truth. And they'll say, oh, yeah, you could probably graduate in 4 years. Yeah. How many business kids do you see graduate in 4 years? Most of them are 5. Yeah. Because they're sneaky. Because they know that they give you limited classes, and they fill up quick, then the guidance counselors don't know what the fuck they're doing or pretend like they don't know what they're doing. And even when I went to talk to the film guidance counselor, she was like, yeah, this is bullshit. Like, they have all these she told me, she's like, they have all these classes that aren't important, and you'd be able to learn a lot more and really be engaged in your major if they were taken out. It's bullshit.
I actually had to get rid of one before. And it sounds so crazy. Like, I actually had to go through that process. Like, yeah, I want to just switch. Like, I'm
Yeah.
And it was because, see, this guidance counselor actually just refused to meet with me. Like they would do any and everything. Like, okay, can we just like talk about it over the phone? And I'm like, you have an office that you're supposed to be in. Like,
Don't you have
and it's like
office hours?
and it's like I'm like really good at my job. I can definitely handle this over a phone call. And I'm like, no, you're going to meet with me at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was just like, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, and then I just literally had to just actually switch them out. And then it was kind of like they seen me in person and they wanted to just be like, I can't believe you did that. And it's like,
what?
I'm like, I can't believe you don't want to do your job. Like,
no, same with me. There was a time I went to go meet with my advisor because I just wanted to make sure I was on track for graduation.
You just want to talk to him.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everything's lining up. You know, I had built my own schedule on my own. I looked at my audit and see what credits, what classes I needed. And I went there with it. It was going to be a quick meeting. I just want her to look over it for me and tell me, yes, these are the classes that you should be taking. These will get you the credits you need. And then as I'm leaving, she's like, it's nice that you want to come in and have me look over it, but she's like, you should try to do it on your own. And it's like, no, I don't have a problem with putting together my own schedule. I need you. This is your job. I need you to look at it and tell me this aligns.
That's
because
what they get paid for.
That's what your job is.
Yeah.
I know how to do things on my own, but this is my graduation, like we're talking about. Like, I'm not going to be here any longer than what I have to be. So, damn it, you're going to look at it and tell me, yes, I'm on track. That's all you got to do.
See, again, it's, I think the core problems that occur from college and occur to these kids that are stressed out is the resources. Like, they say they have all these resources, but aren't willing to explain to people things. Like, you can have a resource and say, oh, here's a career center, go ahead and go through all our internships. They're all on the internet or whatever. All these resources, right? You have all these online resources, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not willing to actually sit and talk to kids or even try to reach out to people, because, kids don't always want to talk to their guidance counselors.
Yeah.
Kids are anxious or
some of them don't even know that they should be.
Or they don't understand the concept, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's like you got to be consistent with these kids. You have to be understanding of people, and I don't think they are. These high school, I don't know. How are your high school guidance counselors?
I mean, that was way different. I feel like they were more nurturing just because but they considered you a kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, automatically, then especially just knowing that some kids don't have anybody to talk to or might not have the best situation at home, I feel like they had no choice but the nurturing. Yeah. But at the same time, as far as these like guidance counselors in the school, I feel like they try to finesse so much free time. Like, they know they signed up for a job where you probably have to think about it outside of work. And I feel like they try to narrow that down. Like, okay, it's these 50 kids that want to meet with me. I'm going to get this down to 30 by just talking to like the other 20 on the phone for 20 minutes.
Right.
I think sometimes it's their own image,
and you can't do that. Like,
they want to look good. Because, so for my high school, I went to Avon Lake, like I was saying. And a lot of the teachers, principals, like, whole staff, a lot of them lived right in Avon Lake and grew up in that city.
Yeah.
So I guess as a whole, like, the community, they're all really close and, one mom knows the other mom.
Right.
Which, for me, it was never really like that with my family. That's just how I was.
Yeah.
But, like, the guidance counselors, they cared about the students, but I think it was more because they grew up with those students. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of, like, the students are following in their path.
Well, like we talked about.
And they want to keep that line of going.
Right.
In a weird way.
I mean, it's like we talked about education majors, right?
Yeah.
It's the same concept as they're taking this job not based off the money and based off of actually, making a difference.
Yeah.
Having stability.
Yeah.
And really just helping kids. Whereas I would say college guidance counselors are mainly for the money.
Yeah.
They probably get paid pretty decent.
Yeah.
If I was to guess.
Well, they better be. I'm already $40,000 in debt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
the money's got to be going somewhere.
Yeah, so if we're paying all this money, why can't we get good people that actually want to nurture us? Fuck.
Yeah,
yeah, we're adults, but we're like in between this limbo.
We're adults, but we still have so much to learn. I mean.
Yeah. So what do you think? So college is great, right? What do you think is the difference between, going right out of school and then going to college? Like, do you think there are advantages to just going into the workforce right out of school or going to college? What is your opinion on that?
I think that if it fits and you're able to make it happen, you should definitely take that opportunity because
it's a big purchase, right?
Why later than, never? Why would you want to wait on something like that you've just put so much time and money into? Usually you should be ready to keep on rolling along. Now, life happens and things come up, and sometimes you just do. You have to reroute. You got to rework your plan a little bit, and, things won't go as you expected them to. But I think that, yeah, there's a huge advantage to, when your graduation date, you should definitely be taking it a lot more seriously that, hey, I'm about to be out of school. Let's go do something with my degree.
Yeah.
Let's go do something and let's kill it. Like, let's take on life. Like, why? I'm not going to backtrack here. I should be moving on forward here. That's just my opinion. I think if you choose to take that break, that's on you. And if you're going to, you just have to keep in mind that you chose that for yourself.
Yeah.
So if life starts to get rough because of that decision you made, you have to understand that was on you, and it didn't have to be that way.
Right.
It didn't have to be. You had every opportunity and ability to put in that effort to get that job when you graduate.
Yeah.
Now, I think it
agree.
can be hard, though, too, to find that job by that time because it's not that easy, though, either, to find the job your dream job that you want.
Right.
So if you can make it work, yeah, definitely, you should keep that train, strolling along. Because I feel like that's just really important. You shouldn't...
Yeah, if you're going to go
you shouldn't pause on it. Why would you want to pause on it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you're doing. Like, if you're... a lot of people in sociology, they want to go get their master's.
Yeah.
Get their doctorate.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, yeah, you're getting those, and then you'll work at a place, like a... like, understanding, what am I trying to say? Like, inner cities is a lot of places where, sociology, psychology.
I mean, I would say even like nonprofits and stuff like that.
Nonprofits, social work. Nonprofits. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. I definitely think that's like a good route to go if you want to keep going to school and become more of an academic or a doctor.
Yeah. Well, that's just the thing with socials. It really is so broad. So you have your data, statistics, because that's what sociology is. It's social science. So you really are you're gathering a whole bunch of data, and then that's how you come to these conclusions about, why do we have these norms? Why are people acting like this? Why does one group associate with the other? Because it does come down to, getting data, gathering it, interpreting it. For me, yeah, that's interesting. I'm not huge on that, though. I like more of the actual, okay, how can we get out there and do something about that? I don't want to be the one working for the Census Bureau. I think, it's necessary and we need people to do it, but I don't want to do that with my degree because that's not the aspect I want to focus on.
No, I agree.
And even then, all these statistics, nothing's ever absolutely right. Like, my mom, she was training for the Census Bureau, and she said that she had to back out because the people she was around, it was like a culture shock. Like, I don't know if we can really trust these statistics at all because it's not really hard to get, hired at the Census Bureau. And that's a big, it's a big thing. Like, we rely on that for our population.
Yeah, but how many people fill that out?
Yeah, it's just, crazy, though.
Yeah. So, all right, so going a little bit back, right? This was an interesting... thing I want to bring up. In a lot of countries, they take a year break from when you graduate high school and then go to college. Do you think that would be beneficial in America to kind of require kids to do that? Because I forget exactly where at, but it does happen, and they encourage people to go travel during that year period and then go back to school. Do you think that would help kids out, figure themselves out a little bit?
It's a no-go for me. That is a terrible idea.
Yeah, in my opinion, I don't think that would be
Well, at this point, I don't think
that'd be the right approach to trying to get kids to figure out who they are, because it's more likely that if they take that break, it's gonna keep getting pushed back to where they're supposed to be coming to that point where, okay, maybe I should go to school now. Because I see that a lot just with people
away,
I know. Yeah, it's like, okay, that year goes by, and they're like, oh crap, I should probably like enroll. And then they're like, oh, maybe I'll just go one more like semester, and then I'll just wait and do it then. You know, that's the problem. They keep pushing it, and then, you know, they're settling at that point because it's like, well, are you ever going to do it then? And usually they don't.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the one benefit of these other countries is like that has always been a custom, right? So people don't have that mindset because in America we have people go right after high school, you know?
Yeah.
And in our mindsets growing up and seeing people that, you know, we are a little more lazier or this isn't our thing we do.
It's because we're more individualistic. So we are very about ourselves. You know, we're so very similar, but we're actually so different from each other. Right. So all these other countries, they have that culture. Yeah. They have that. America, we have American culture, which means everybody is very individual. And
and we're like this. And we're like, I have to graduate high school, either as soon as I graduate, go to college or get a job.
Yeah.
And then when I'm 22 or 23, I have to get a girlfriend, and then by 25 got to be married, and then 27 have a kid, and then buy a house at 30, and then work my job, retire at 60. Like we have such specific kind of things that happen in America. I think.
It's like expectations.
Expectations, and I think that pressures people too. Yeah. So much. So.
It's interesting though that even though like we expect that now, because a lot of things are actually shifting over. So like for instance, people aren't getting married as often as they were back then.
Yeah.
They're not. Those rates
it's moving away from these customs. But it's still prevalent.
Yeah.
I still see it a lot.
Yeah.
People freak out if they're 30 and don't have a husband or wife. Yeah. Or significant other. Yeah. Or they haven't, or someone goes and they don't buy their first house till 40, they feel lesser, right? Yeah. But in America, we're super judgmental about that too. We're like, oh, you don't. They just bought their first house at 40.
Well, because everybody wants to live the American dream. Right.
But I think
that's exactly what you basically just described.
That has to do with our problem of stress and depression and anxiety. Yeah. In America. That's why it's so crazy in America.
Now, granted, this will probably never, ever happen in America. But I feel like to solve a lot of problems, it will also affect millions of people. If anything, I feel like the first year of college should be free. I feel like that would. Yeah. I feel like that would solve a lot of problems in the aspect of like people going and people just being like, "Oh, that wasn't for me." Yeah. And then also a lot of people would be able to say, "Oh, I didn't waste my parents' time. I didn't waste a lot of debt, and I just know like that whole college thing is not for me."
I think high school too. Those last 2 years, they could, facilitate and put out more programs and just.
But the funding is a problem.
Information.
I feel like. But I agree with
now,
you.
As far as the funding, that whole concept, we could sit here and say like, but it's also these other countries where college is just free. Like that's just how it is. So it's not impossible, but also understand why it's not a thing.
That's what. No, I argued with Chloe about this, and I do think college should be free.
I don't think the whole thing should be free.
No, really? I don't think it should.
You guys don't? I think it 100% should be free because
it's going to decrease the value.
But people that don't want to go to school won't go to school still. You still have to pass. You still have to go to class.
I'm not saying people won't go. I'm saying that if it's that easy, people aren't going to take it as seriously because...
So what's the worst outcome of it? People can actually be educated? People are able to actually be educated and don't have to worry about being poor?
Just because you go to class doesn't mean you're learning anything.
Poor people can't get educated.
But just because you go to class doesn't mean you're learning anything.
But you still have to pass.
I think at that point it would be too competitive. I think it would be too competitive if it was free like the entire time.
I think at first it would be a struggle, but over time, over a generation, it would be fine.
I think it should be more affordable and reasonable.
I think it definitely should be free. There's just no reason why we would want to hinder people from getting educated. Everyone should be educated, no matter if you're poor or if you think you're dumb. and you think about all these people that are smart people that just can't afford it.
The problem is, though, like, over time, if it's just that easy for everybody,
So
it will
rich people will
decrease
just
the value.
Rich people will just stay wealthy. I mean, that's what it will do. Because it's getting more expensive. It should be affordable, but really damn near close to being free. Some people should get it for free, which some people do.
Yeah.
Scholarships.
I mean, some people do get it for free.
But I mean, like, it should be way more simpler to some people.
Well, it is easier for some. We're at different levels, in society. There's one person will always have a better opportunity than another. That is how it is.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But, like, I don't think that it would really make it more... It might make it more competitive, but you can always choose to get your master's. I think college education should be free. When you get
to that point, though, when you're ready, let's say you go for your 4 years and you decide you want to go for more, it's not like you're going for another 4 years and you're going to be $80,000 in debt all over again.
But, like, what would be the negative of having a more educated society?
That's not...
Well, the value of the bachelor's would go down. I mean, granted, it's already going down, but it would definitely, like, go down, like...
It would
you just went to college for 4 years?
Yeah.
That's it?
Because
but
that's just
but wouldn't
life,
it be
though.
better that more people be educated?
That's just life, though. Like, if you want something, you have to invest. You have to invest. If you want a strong outcome, you need to invest. Whether that's your time, your money, your sacrifices that you make. And
you are sacrificing your time. You still have to go to class.
If you take it seriously.
But then you can't pass.
Okay, so in this concept, are people paying to live on campus?
Wasted.
No. So I'm saying education. That's not part of education. That's part of living expenses.
Okay.
But where does the money come from then?
Where does the money come from? They spend billions of dollars on dumbass shit overseas, and instead of helping people in America, they spend tons of money.
Well, yeah, but it won't last for an eternity. Eventually, the money's gonna run out. So I'm
thinking every year a section of their budget is put towards just stupid ass shit that could be spent. I forget the exact number, but I remember listening to something and it said, like, educate the whole society is not actually as much
I think education itself, is extremely valuable. I'm not saying people should be hindered. I'm saying that if you still want it in some way or form or another, you have to invest.
Yeah.
You do. You need to prove that you are ready to go and get something out of your schooling. You cannot just go and think, oh, I went, so that means that I deserve this. Yeah. Because
if more people are educated, more businesses... More people are making more money because there's more businesses.
Well, I think that's the problem, though, because, so for instance, I grew up in a way where my mom, she made me do things. She would not do them for me because if she did, she knew that I would always make her do it and I would never know how and I wouldn't take it as seriously. I think that's what would happen if we made college free. So people are going to go in thinking that, oh, this is for free. So if I skip, every single class, what do I have to lose?
So what about the kids that have it paid for by their parents? So, right, I see those kids, they have it for free, right? And they fail and drop out because they can't handle it. They can't pass, right? So that's already knocking the same kids that aren't going to pass. You know how many kids don't want to go to college whether they can afford it or not? Then fuck them. But the people that want to go to college and get the degree can get it.
Well, the kids that end up failing out because their parents usually pay for most of it because they don't understand that you have to put something at stake in order for the outcome to come. Their parents, I bet you, were not happy with that.
But that's what I'm saying.
But the kids don't care because they didn't put the money into it. Their parents did.
But that's what I'm just saying, though.
Yeah.
I'm saying the concept that somebody that has their college paid for, they're not putting any money up for it.
Oh, I think
and they're
it's ridiculous.
Still dropping out.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's
ridiculous. And they're still not getting their degree. So what I'm saying is if it's free... then those people are still going to exist. Not everyone's going to be able to pass college because they don't want to pass college because they have no drive. But the people that have drive and don't have the opportunity can therefore go and not be in debt and not have, some people don't even have opportunities to get scholarships or something. I don't know. For some reason, things happen to people. There's only so much money going out there.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but there's no way. It can't be that easy. The money's got to come from somewhere. People have to understand the value of, okay, you put something in, you get something out.
I think, I'm kind of with that. I feel like it has to be, okay, I would even raise you the fact of it being free, but also with the risk factor. I feel like the risk factor has to exist. So like it can start off free, but when you drop out, those fines that existed before have to exist because people have to understand that this is a risk.
Yeah.
If people don't understand it's a risk, they will just leave. And I feel like that's the problem with us as society as a whole. Anything that we know we could just go, we could just do, we'll just do it. Like,
I know too. I know kids when my one friend I had last year. I'm not gonna say any names, just don't want to throw them out there. But she ended up dropping out, and her parents had it covered for her. But I bet you that they are not going to finish paying that off. You know, if she wanted to come home, well, guess what? Tough luck. You went through half a semester, dropped out.
I know most people are gonna agree with you guys.
You can kind of even look at it as
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but
definitely.
you do have to understand. You want something to come out of something. Right. You gotta put in something.
Realistically, it's never gonna happen, and I think it's just. I mean, it happens in other countries because, again, in America, we're just a lot of self-centered and want the easy way out.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. But if it happened, I think it's going to strongly happen like how I said. I think the deficit is going to be way higher. So I could see college getting a lot harder. And then like, why don't we just let them in for free? Let them get in the door, and then they'll just owe us when they leave.
I do like the idea of the first year free. It's like a business. Like
I
feel like it's kind of
if you sign up for 4 years, get the first year free.
I guess the problem is everybody likes hearing the word free. We all want it just to be that easy.
It probably wouldn't be free,
but the money's got to come from somewhere.
But I was gonna say it wouldn't be necessarily free. There's always got to be a cost.
I mean, just think about when you buy anything. Like, if you go into a furniture store and you see, like, oh, the couch is only $15 a month. So then you see the a month part. Then it leads into you paying off that couch in 20 years.
Yeah.
And then if you miss a payment, it's this much. But they got you through the door. What you just see in the couch is $15.
Yeah.
So I feel like I could see college being like that. Like, it's only this price. And people are like, oh, I can afford that. College is only $100 now. But then the fine print is so crucial as far as depth and what happens if you just fail.
Yeah, there will always be.
And I feel like I could see.
I mean, it's just kind of inherent in our society.
Okay,
that's just how it is.
I mean, I guess the problem lies with them being super for profit. I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
I guess it's not even that you're paying for it. You guys are. I mean, you're right. It's like the reason is that people get money hungry. Universities money hungry, and they increase. They want to get larger, bigger.
They want to be the best college.
They want to be the best. And you see with BG building new buildings every day.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, they even got a fucking robot now.
Yeah, but the construction seems to last for 5 years straight.
Yeah.
In the same exact spot.
All right, before we get done, let's just mention the robot.
Oh, yeah, the little cute one.
Starship Innovation Technology has arrived at Bowling Green.
At Bowling Green State University. They have a robot that delivers food.
Have you spotted it?
Yes. Okay, so me and my roommate, we were walking to class one day and we saw it and we literally started freaking out because it's actually really cute. So, like, I know that sounds silly, but, like, it's got, like, eyes, like, when you look at it, like,
oh, really?
It really does its own thing. Like, it strolls through campus, like, in a group of people, it'll be, like, strolling through right next to them. I can't take it seriously because it's cute. But anyway, so me and my roommate were like, should we go touch it, like, and see if anything happens? Because she said that she heard if you touch it, it says thank you. So then we go over there, and everybody's kind of staring at us because we're, like, two girls over here, like, trying to, fuck around with the robot or whatnot.
Yeah.
Because it's not even, like, ready yet. They're testing it. It's just getting used to our campus. So she touches it, though, anyway, and she, it doesn't make a noise. But it's sitting there for a moment, and it's getting ready to cross the street. And it's so funny, though, because it sat there for a while. And then we're like, what's it doing? Like, why isn't it moving?
He was shy. He was
and then, like, we were laughing, and everybody's, like, just walking past us. And then all of a sudden, it just takes off and crosses the street. And then once it crosses, it turns, and then it keeps on going.
That's hilarious. It was probably like, should I go?
I mean, if I was that short, I'd be scared to cross the street too. Like, car might not see me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I ever see it get hit, I might actually cry.
That would be funny if it, like, could actively talk.
Yeah.
Like, actively?
I think it has to be able to.
Well, I'm saying, like, actively hold a conversation.
Well, it's a robot. They don't have feelings, so that's unlikely.
Well, I mean, Siri can hold a conversation.
Siri can give you
what she pulls up
on Google.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, they can I'm sure they can program it to somehow respond to you.
Well, that's all what it is. When they put in Siri, they record those responses. So when you say something, you wish she already knows what to say.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna have like a get out of the way option, like because the whole thing is supposed to it's supposed to get people fooled.
It's gonna have a blaster on the back of it to turn it off.
Get out of the way.
5 or it gets pissed or like people are blocking it. It's starts getting pissed. It's like real red.
So I want to know: is it supposed to? Because I don't know too much about this thing. I just see articles. Are they supposed to have multiple, like, that are, like, once they get really in the works and start delivering the food, are they going to have, like, multiple?
I would guess it's going to probably depend on, like, how the first one is going as far as a business aspect.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be a delivery charge, so BG can make more money
I think it's crazy.
Off of the robot.
Like, we have robots now delivering food.
Yeah, you have to, deliver food.
I feel like...
Goodbye, freshman 15. Hello, like, freshman 20, right? Like, you're not even going to walk to go get your own food now. It's going to be delivered to you. Like, what, you had to move 2 feet out of bed?
That'd be crazy if it came into your dorm room.
I actually would like to have a sleepover with it, kind of get to know it.
I mean, I feel like that'd definitely probably be a progress in the future. Just the robot finding itself to climb up those stairs and make it on people's floors.
Yeah.
I could see that being like the next innovation.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like our technology age is crazy. Anything is possible.
That's what I mean. These robots are going to take all the jobs away.
I don't think they'll take
robots.
Well,
you guys know that's the next thing. Like, we're going to be out of existence. And
if the robot starts having feelings, you better run.
I don't believe that.
Run quick.
It's going to, what do you mean? We're inventing this stuff that eventually we're going to be able to build a consciousness.
All right, now we're talking about robots. Maybe that should be another episode.
This is going to be
That's a good topic for another episode.
I don't think building a conscience like matters in the sense of like.
If Ty had a robot, they'd name it after him.
The thing is, we're humans, and I feel like we look at ourselves as like the best, so we're gonna always want to keep us.
Yeah, but we want to make things near us
easier, right?
No, we like.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah, but these people that are scientists, they want to innovate everything and make things better. They want to create a human being, practically.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Technology is not neutral. There is always room for advancement. So as long as there is, they're going to keep on advancing. That's what I'm saying. They are actively trying right now to create that.
So what makes you think that they wouldn't exist?
No, so I think they're going to exist, but I don't think it's going to be in the sense of like. So your original statement was like replacing, replacing civilization of humans.
Because we are going to die one day. We can only live for so long. Humans, it's like a cycle. Eventually it has to end.
Do you think there's life on other planets?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
I want to find out.
So when you say you think we can only live so long, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think eventually it cycles. And
Ty wakes up every day, oh my god, I might die tomorrow.
I think the cycle is just new humans existing. Like,
I think new beings.
I mean, I think we're already kind of there.
So what would be the difference between them and us? I mean, they would be new humans, technically. They would be humans, but they would be we created them, and then they'd be able to build themselves.
I mean, unless like I feel like a new Big Bang or something like that happens, I just think the cycle is just going to continue. Basically, we're going to always limit it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Like we don't like they would never let the robot population be higher than the human population. So I think that is one thing.
Unless they go and kill us all, you see iRobot? Fuck.
Yeah, if I was just trying to say,
Will Smith already lived through that.
If one starts having feelings or starts crying or laughing, you better run. Like.
But I mean, I think maybe we'll become it though. Think about it. If they're able to develop consciousness
just
within
nice
it,
to the
and they're able to transfer our consciousness to a robot to allow us to live forever, therefore creating a whole new being. Because we're not ourselves, we are now in this...
They probably can do that.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's just too dangerous.
Eventually it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We want to live forever. We're selfish, like you said.
Okay.
So what's going to stop us from creating that new being and maybe like us becoming AI?
Do the government want you to live forever?
No.
So, but the people in the government want to live forever.
Yeah, so they're only going to use it to their advantage.
But what I'm saying is, like, eventually it's going to become...
Well, yeah, because if the robots take over, there's not much we can do about it.
Yeah. All right, so we'll save this topic for another day to finish it off. But,
okay.
Chloe, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're beautiful.
Kept bugging you about it. Thanks.
All right, no.
You're beautiful, too.
Yeah, Will, you're beautiful as well.
Well,
all right, so where can they find you? What's your social media handles?
Oh my gosh. Okay, Instagram is Chloe, CHLOE_Sintic. Same thing as Twitter.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Perfect.
Really easy.
Go follow her on there.
And TikTok.
And TikTok. She loves TikTok.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for listening and watching. It's your boy Chef T.
It's Will the Spacekid.
Talk low.
And keep it real. See you next week.
Thank you all for listening and joining us on another episode of the Stirfry. All the music was created by Steve Ozell, so check him out on all streaming services at Stevo Music, spelled ST3V30 Music. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'd greatly appreciate it. And thanks again to our sponsor of the Stirfry, Nuclear Printing. They're a custom apparel business printing things from t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Check them out on Instagram at Nuclear Printing, spelled NUCLEAR Printing. And see you next Tuesday when we talk with the man himself, Randy Buffington. He's a digital content producer and part of Undefeated ESPN. He's great, so see you next week and keep it real.